Thank you, Speaker. Would the floor manager of this particular, yes, thank you. I was going to ask for you by name, but I thought that would be inappropriate.
He will yield. Proceed.
Thank you. On the accreditation that you spoke of in your amendment earlier, what was allotted for funding for that?
So I believe it was 500,000.
500,000? Where did that figure come from?
So historically, if you look at the history of the original proposal, because statutorily it was passed in 2010, I believe one of my colleagues.
Yes, 2010. Yes.
A couple of seats back, it was $450,000 initially allocated to that, and with our financial staff running the numbers, that was up to 500,000, just to make sure that we were able to provide a comprehensive process as possible.
So after hearing from the oversight, after hearing from a woman who was representing the parenting project, and this issue of accreditation came up, certainly it caught all of our attention, right? In my office that next day, I reached out to the council on accreditation, the outfit that the state had already spoken to originally back in 2010, and we asked them to please update us on what it would cost for the accreditation process. And I have a 3-page letter from them dated June 18th. And the cost that they quoted, updated to today's numbers, is $245,765, roughly half of, or less than half of what we're allotting to this. And furthermore, it's only $83,000 a year for the next 3 years to do it. So I'm a little interested to learn why we would put $500,000 in there for something that doesn't cost half that much.
I completely understand your concerns, and you're actually, so you're almost just capturing half of the process. So with those individuals that you may have spoken, that you have spoken with, it develops a process for that price, I believe, as well. And then we also have the state's going to create the plan after, in conjunction with the recommendations by the creditors. And there's also, it's structured so that if you don't use all of the funding for this project, it just folds back over.
It would do what? Just put your microphone up a little.
Lift your mic.
There you go.
Reappropriated.
It would be reappropriated?
To the next year.
For the purpose of what? If it ends up costing less, why would we reappropriate money to it?
For the purposes of the continuation of the plan.
So
and whatever the plan costs.
The extra $250,000 is to accommodate the work that the state will have to do?
Correct.
Why wouldn't it be more prudent to wait for their recommendations before we try to plan on how much it's going to cost to implement them?
Well, some departments you may want to take that approach, but with DCYF, when time is of the essence, you want to be able to act as quickly as possible. So if the allocation and the process is developed, we would want to be able to hit the ground running as quickly as possible, just to make sure that all of the children in the care of DCYF are properly protected during that period of time, as quickly as possible.
Sure. I mean, I'm certainly very happy.
Thank you, Representative. It's not a floor conversation. Thank you, Representative Malzikowski. Proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. So I'm certainly happy to hear that we are dealing with this. And I agree it's urgent. I'm not sure why, when we voted it into law in 2010, we refused to fund it all these years. But certainly, you know, I had some amendments as well that these by design trump, and I'm happy that we're doing this. I'm happy that we are seeking this accreditation, because certainly this is a step that is not only necessary based on the recommendations we have.
30 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. But this is something that we've been calling for, and we legislated into existence. I am looking forward to the results of this process. I am hopeful that we stay on track, and I'm hopeful that we continue to fund this to the extent that it needs to be funded. Thank you very much.
Leader for